a lot of people watch her to keep eyes on her, and she's really proud of the views she's getting. That's all she talks about. Oh, it's incredible, all the views I'm getting. It's all you care about, Candice, is the views that you get. So Candice Owens just, I think today, released a video, is live right now, and she is saying that the Macrons have dropped the lawsuit against her. I want to check with ChatGPT. Let's see. So I said, where was it? I said, was the Candice Owen Macrons dropped, or is it still ongoing? That's what I asked. This is what it says. As of September 2025, the defamation lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, against U.S. commentary Candice Owens is ongoing. The lawsuit was filed in Delaware Superior Court on July 23, 2025, and has not been dropped or dismissed. Now, the reason, this is why Candice won't tell you herself, she's hiding it, the reason why the Macrons are taking this lawsuit to Delaware is because that's where her LLC is. She lives in Tennessee, and so it says here the lawsuit was filed in Delaware Superior and has not been dropped or dismissed. The Macrons allege that Owens repeatedly spread false claims that Brigitte Macron was born biologically male, which they argue has caused views. We got millions of views. Yeah, trust me, it's causing a lot of distress and damage. Owens has denied the allegations, framing the lawsuit as an attack on her First Amendment. She thinks she's being attacked. Give me a break. You spread lies, and these people want to defend themselves. They have a right to defend themselves from lunatics like you. The case is proceeding through the U.S. legal system. There's no indication of it being dropped at this time. And I said, and here it continues. Yes, a defamation lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, against U.S. commentary Candice Owens is ongoing. The lawsuit was filed, okay, it's kind of repeating the same thing. So let me check the sources here. Let's just check the sources and make sure. Because ChatGPT says the lawsuit is not dropped. And this is what Candice Owens is saying. She's saying that it's been dropped. Let's see this. Check out the sources. And there's this guy on YouTube. I made a post about it. He was going through their defense, and he says the defense is weak. And she doesn't talk about that, does she? Well, I just lost the page. Whoopee whoopee. So let me see if I can get my phone situated here. There we go. Let's see. Let's try this again. So, was the lawsuit against Candice Owens made by the Macrons dropped? Please list sources. We're going to give it a minute. So it's searching the web. No, the defamation lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, against Candice Owens has not been dropped. In fact, the lawsuit remains active and is progressing through the legal system. The Macrons initiated the lawsuit on July 23, 2025 in Delaware Superior Court, accusing Owens, because that's where her LLC is established. She lives in Tennessee, but that's where her LLC is, of spreading false claims that Brigitte Macron was born biologically male. The 22-count complaint alleges that Owens used these defamatory statements to promote her podcast, which she proudly does, and gain financial profit, which she proudly says, despite being presented with evidence disproving her claims. The Macrons have stated that they resorted to legal action only after repeated requests for retraction were ignored. There was a misunderstanding stemming from the headline by the Western Journal, which used the phrase drop on in the sense of slapping with, leading some readers to believe the lawsuit had been abandoned. However, this interpretation was incorrect, and the Macrons have confirmed that the lawsuit is ongoing. Let's check out Snopes. This is where France's first couple. This is what it says, and I'll show you. I'll show you right here. I gotta unplug it a little bit, but let me just flip it over. Flippity flip. France's first couple didn't drop against Candice Owens. This was a while ago. This was August. So I don't know. I don't know how. We gotta find current stuff. In early August 2025, France President Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte Macron, announced they were abandoning their 22-core defamation lawsuit against U.S. far-right commentator Candice Owens, who spread the false claim that Brigitte Macron was a trans woman. I'm trying to get to it. The misunderstanding came from the use word drop in July 23rd, 2005, headlined by the Western Journal. So this is too far off. I'm trying to find if there's anything more current, because that would be good. That would be good. Because, yeah. I might have to look in to see any current reports, because I'm not satisfied with that. I mean, that was August, not too long ago. But she's claiming that it's been dropped. Like I said, there's a guy that I posted on my YouTube channel, and he reviews. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how to call it the docket or the papers that in defense of Candice Owens, the lawyer in defense of Candice Owens presented. And first of all, it said, I'll just kind of maybe ChatGPT can pull it up, but it's having problems loading. Just give it a sec. But it's not quite satisfying. I wish there was something more current saying that they dropped it or not. I'll ask it again. Let's see. Are there any publications in September? Let's see. September, more specifically. What's today? We'll just say currently. What's today? We'll just say anywhere between today and a few days ago. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they dropped it, but I don't think they would. September 15th. Let's see. Here's some notable publications from the past few days. September 14, 17, 2025. News and editorials. Peter Brooks Times Cartoon. An exhibition of recent cartoons by Peter Brooks is currently on display at the Watts Gallery. What is that? Nothing. Just hold on a sec, guys. It just gave me a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. Oh, it misunderstood my question. I was directing that question about the lawsuit between Candice Owens and the Macrons. Searching the web. Let's see what the news have to say. If there's any articles, any recent articles. So here's what it says. As of September 17, 2025, there have been no new developments in the defamation lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, against American conservative commentator Candice Owens. The lawsuit, initiated on July 23, 2025 in Delaware Superior Court, accuses Owens of spreading false claims, and Brigitte Macron was born male and has committed identity theft, incest. That's important. This is what she's accusing Brigitte, that not only committed identity theft, but also incest, fraud, and abuse of power. The Macrons allege that Owens used these defamatory statements to promote her podcast and gain notoriety. Owens has denied the allegations, framing the lawsuit as an infringement on her First Amendment rights. Aw, how sad. She has vowed to continue discussing the matter on her platform. The lawsuit remains ongoing, and no further legal proceedings or court decisions have been reported in the past few days. Again, more sources from July. It's not. I mean, it's not good enough for me. There's nothing new. No new publications on the matter that suggests that the lawsuit was dropped. Now, I'm going to go to my page because I made a post. I reposted this guy's video. He went over their defense. And, well, actually, let me see if ChatGPT can pull that up. Can you pull up the defense made by Candice Owen's lawyers? Let's see if it can do that. If not, I'll just go to this. So here's what it said. I don't think it's going to provide it, but I'll just go to my post. But here's what it says. Candice Owen's legal team has not issued a formal defense filing in the defamation lawsuit brought against her by French President Emmanuel Macron. Well, it has. I think this is a little old. However, Owens and her representatives have publicly responded to the lawsuit, emphasizing their stance on free speech and the nature of the allegations. Public statements from Candice Owens and her team. Rejection of the lawsuit. Owens has dismissed the lawsuit as an infringement on her first rights, asserting that it represents an attempt to silence her. She has vowed to continue discussing the matter on her platform, stating Candice Owens is not shutting up. Allegations of bullying. A spokesperson for Owens characterized the lawsuit as an effort to bully her into submission. Right, and bullying Brigitte over and over. What's that? That's correct? To bully somebody over and over? No, I don't think so. Which was allegedly ignored and criticized the Macrons for resorting to legal action instead of engaging in dialogue. Yeah, because they don't play around. They're not fucking playing around. You know, that's why. They're just not, they're done. They're like, are you serious? Continue assertions. Despite the legal proceedings, Owens has continued to promote her podcast series, Becoming Brigitte, which is central to the defamation claim. She has reiterated her controversial statements about Brigitte Macron's gender identity, framing the lawsuit as evidence supporting her assertion. So she claims that the lawsuit itself is supporting her argument. How crazy do you have to be? She doesn't understand that she's hurting people. That's the problem. She doesn't understand that she's hurting people for her own glory and fame. Disgusting. These public responses reflect Owens' commitment to defending her views and challenging the legal actions taken against her. If you would like more detailed information on the legal aspects of this case, updates, its progress, feel free to ask. Yes, please. More details, please. Like I said, I made a post. I shared this guy's video, and he went over the actual document they presented. And it's such a weak argument. Man, I hope she gets crushed. She fucking deserves it. She's such a freaking douche. As of September 17, 2005, Candice Owens has not filed... Oh, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay, so I know for a fact that the papers were released because I saw it with my own eyes. We're going to go to my channel where I reposted it because that's the only way I'm going to be able to find it. So this guy is really interesting, and you may want to take a look at this once I show you who went over it, and take a look for it yourself. This was like literally today, I think, or like this morning or last morning. So I'm just hunting it down. I'm going to my channel, and I got to look at this post because I don't recall the guy's name. Go to post. Just bear with me here for a second. I apologize. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's see. Where is it? I gotta scroll down a bit. No. Here we go. I found it. Her argument is weak sauce. She will lose. Her only way out is to plead the insanity. So this guy, and I'll show you here in a minute. So check out this guy's channel. Let's see, how do I? It streamed 21 hours ago. I'm going to show you here in a second. It's just loading. Okay, this is the page. Switch camera view. Switching camera view. Sorry, my tech is slow. All right. This is the guy. Check him out. The Jay Witt podcast. 21 hours ago. My phone's about to die, so I got to plug it in. But 21 hours ago, this guy, the Jay Witt podcast, he went over, let's see, where is the video? Videos. He went over the document, and you can find it on his page. Let's see, no turning back now. Was that it? No, Owens, where is it? 6 days ago. Man, I can't find it. Let's see. I gotta go to my post. That's weird. Well, I don't know. I'm having trouble finding it on there, but if you go to my post, I'm not trying to navigate you to my channel. It's just the way I have it saved. But if you go and you scroll down, let's see, where is it? Fascinating video. Okay, here it is. Candice Owens fires back at Macrons out of time. I guess the video's, I'm not sure what the video's called. Let's see. It's called, Candice Owens fires back at Macrons.
This is my favorite classy gift to give.
In Macron explosive lawsuit response. And he calls it pretty weak. Pretty weak sauce. Let's see, skip. Oh my God, this thing's so slow. So slow. So. So check him out. He reviews the document. Let me see if I can zoom in. Right here. So I don't know if there's any, I haven't seen any updates that it's been dropped, but they did send this in. And let's see, let's start from the beginning, shall we? And I'm so there it is. Defendants opening brief in support of their motion to dismiss. It's got all their information there. And let's see if we can scoot down a little bit. But listen to what he says. Listen, really, visit his site and listen to what he says. Here's Candice Owens LLC, and George Tom Incorporated, collectively defendants by and through the council, hereby move to dismiss the claims brought against them in the complaint pursuant to Superior Court Civil Rules 12b2, 12b3, 12b5, and 12b6. Introduction. The contravention of a sacred precept of U.S. constitutional law, the President and the First Lady of France, Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron, have filed baseless, she calls it, defamation suit against an independent American journalist who broadcast a daily news and culture show from her basement in Nashville, Tennessee. See, told you. The Macrons are upset that defendant Candice Owens produced an opinion-based series discussing the... So here's the thing, though. When you're presenting an opinion, and then you say, I know for a fact, which she says quite often, I know for a fact, like it's set in stone, right? So that, she's in my opinion, she's in big trouble. Let's continue this. Candice Owens produced an opinion-based series discussing the Macrons' relationship, their families, histories, and their rise to fame, power, and influence. The court, however, along with all other state and federal courts in the United States, including the Supreme Court, has protected journalists' First Amendment's rights to produce such contents since our nation's founding. Sounds nice, doesn't it? First, the French president and his wife cynically avoid filing their Franco-centric, how funny, case in their own home country. The reason is clear. This matter is not a legitimate legal action, but rather a transparent ruse orchestrated by plaintiffs high-priced public. Let's see if it scoots up for us. He scooted up too fast. Well, just watch the video. Watch the video, guys, and see, and you can see. Yeah, let's get to page 2 is what we want. Page 2. Relations firm. He had the Macrons actually suffered reputation harm from Miss Owens' opinion piece, and were they serious about clearing their names or protecting their reputations, they would have filed suit in France within the applicable limitation period, which again, the limitations is laughable because she continues to talk about it, so that doesn't matter. I mean, even if her hit piece against Brigitte is already past 3 months, the fact that she keeps talking about it is still, in my mind, still in the and this guy agrees, is within limit. But we'll see. But legitimate vindication of their rights has never been the Macrons' intent, nor were their reputations injured. Instead, they want Miss Owens, a popular and opinionated journalist, to halt her investigative search and commentary about the French president and his wife and those appointed by her or associated with them. To stifle Miss Owens' freedom of speech, the Macrons initiated a well-documented publicity campaign against Miss Owens personally. I mean, what the hell did Brigitte do? I mean, Owens was, I mean, come on, let's not pretend here. Let's see if we can scoot down. Scoot down, there we go. Oh, sorry guys, we got an ad. Hold on. That's how YouTubers make their money. Ask Candice about that. Let's see. Where was I? Let's put a pause on this. Let's put a pause. See. They would have filed suit in France with an applicable limitations period, but legitimate vindication of their rights has never been the Macrons' intent, nor were their reputations injured, which is a big lie. A big lie. How many people believe that Brigitte is a man now? You know, that's ridiculous. And here's the thing. Okay, imagine being a woman, an elder woman, who's responsible for a lot of things in the country, and you're being attacked, and you're being called ugly, made fun of. I mean, she was disgusted. The things she said, she literally spent, I don't know how much time dissing her haircut. Okay, this is more than just exposing Brigitte. This was a personal attack. Her words are hateful and disgusting, and based on what? Based on what, dude? Like, you're ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's get back to it. Yeah, here we go. Miss Owens, a popular and opinionated journalist, which, you know, here's the thing. She can have opinions, but when she says it's fact and convinces her cult that it's fact, you have just basically radicalized all of them. They all believe the garbage that Candice is saying. So yeah, it's more than just, at this point, journalism and opinions. You know, it's a lot more than that. Popular opinion journalist to halt her investigative research and comment. Yeah. To stifle Miss Owens' freedom of speech, the Macrons initiated a well-documented publicity campaign against Miss Owens personally, including public threats of litigation and other retaliatory actions. Thereafter, because Miss Owens refused to be intimidated, the Macrons filed suit in Delaware. So here's the thing. That was not... The reason why the Macrons reached out to Candice in private was to have a civilized conversation. And what did Candice do? She fucking took a big shit on it. She took a big shit on it. And this is why they're suing her. They gave her a chance. Macrons are such nice people. Imagine an asshole telling the whole world that your wife is a man. Give me a break. Give me a break, dude. Give me a fucking break. To cite Miss Owens personally include public threats of litigation. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? They sent you all the proof, you take a shit on it, and now they're suing you because you don't want to look at the proof. So they're going to force you because they don't like what you're doing. Nobody would like it. Imagine being attacked. Your wife is being attacked. She's the first, and not just any woman, the first of France. Not just any woman, the first lady. Give me a break. If you ask me, that was a PR attempt on her to gain more traction on her own channel. That's all that was. She's the one who did a campaign. She's the one that got the views. She's the one growing her channel, not Macrons. You know what I'm saying? Thereafter, because Miss Owens refused to be intimidated by the truth. So again, it doesn't matter because she kept talking shit about it afterwards. Although the Macrons lawsuit violates fundamental First Amendment, guarantee those issues here. That's what the defense says. In commentary of the French president and his wife and those appointed by her and associated with them, to stifle Miss Owens' freedom of speech, the Macrons initiated a although the Macrons lawsuit violates fundamental First Amendment guarantees, this court need not to reach those issues here. The Macrons' complaint and each claim within it fails as a matter of law on three dispositive threshold grounds. First, the Macrons do not and cannot establish this court's jurisdiction over Miss Owens. Is that true? I don't think that's true. And I'm gonna look that up on let's look that up on ChatGPT. See what it says about. I know it's not the best source, but it does list sources that we can check up on. I gotta put my phone. Sorry, I don't have technology. I don't have money. You know, and I don't really care for money, but I'm doing my best. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can get this phone to stay there. Come on now, you've been doing it for a while now. Sorry, guys. I know it's probably annoying. Trust me, I'm very annoyed by this too. Because I want to get to stuff here. And this is just ridiculous. Come on, phone. Hey. Sorry, I know I'm losing everybody. Okay, there. Let's go to ChatGPT. Can someone from another country sue? We'll just say another country like France. Sue an American journalist, as she claims to be. It's more like a great question. This is what ChatGPT says. Great question. Already lost that argument, Candice Owens, but it's complicated. It depends on several factors. It's complicated, but depends on several factors. Let's get into it. That are accessible or have impact on the country where the plaintiff is located, France. In this case, courts in that country might claim jurisdiction. There you go. That's what's happening. In this lawsuit, the Macrons filed in the U.S. state, which means they choose to sue in the U.S. system rather in France. And they're doing it because Candice Owens' business's LLC is located in Delaware, not in Tennessee. I don't know why. She never explained why that is. She doesn't live in Delaware, so I don't know what the deal is with that. Laws vary by country. Defamation laws are very different between the U.S. and countries like France. The U.S. has strong protections for free speech under the First Amendment, making it harder for public figures to win defamation suits. They have to prove actual malice, knowledge of falsity, or reckless disregard for truth. And here's the thing. Candice Owen said it was a threat that they were sending her like documents to try to prove she was insane, and there's just baseless. It's all baseless. That was their attempt. Okay, so she has the truth in her hands, so it's weird that she continues and doubles downs and triples downs, and Candice Owens might argue, well, I didn't know I was actually causing malice. But that's the big problem. Most people who cause malice don't know they're doing it. And it's a great reckless disregard for the truth, an enormous disregard for the truth. France's defamation laws tend to be stricter and more plaintiff-friendly. Enforcement of foreign judgments. Number 3. If the lawsuit were filed in France and Owens lost, then the question is whether the U.S. courts would enforce the foreign judgment. That's another good question. Another reason why they decided not to do it there, because it makes sense. The U.S. may not enforce the final judgment. They're just going to let her do whatever she wants. So it's very smart of France to do it here in the U.S., because that way she will be accountable for her actions. Otherwise, there's a good chance she may not be. U.S. courts can refuse to enforce foreign defamation judgments if they conflict with the First Amendment protections. So she's using this blanket of the First Amendment, which is a great thing, right? But it doesn't mean you're free from retaliation. It doesn't mean that just because you're free to talk, it doesn't, like, take what's happening with the leftists who said publicly in their online social medias how much they hated Kirk. They wish there were more deaths, this and that, mocking him, and they all got fired. They were found and fired. So you're free to talk, but you're not free from the consequences of that free speech. That's important to know. Why sue in the U.S.? Number 4, the Macrons suing in the U.S. means they are using the American legal system to hold Owens accountable for statements made on American platforms which might have a substantial U.S. audience, which is true. She's got millions. She's on here live right now and getting millions of views. Why? Because when you hate the Jews, you get the views. In this specific case, the Macrons filed in Delaware Superior Court because Owens resides or does business in the U.S. This makes the U.S. court a proper venue to hear the case. Exactly. It's not because they're escaping this or that. No, it's just proper. Owens' lawyers will likely argue First Amendment protections and challenge jurisdiction if necessary. Of course they will. If you want, I can explain more about international defamation law or how courts decide jurisdiction cases like this. Okay, we might do that. Let's go back to this guy and keep reading the document that Candice Owens' lawyers have put forth. First, the Macrons do not and cannot establish this court jurisdiction. That's what she says, which is, again, false. There you go. She's going to lose that one easily. And I know she's mispopular and everybody believes her and they're on her side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make you right. It doesn't make you right. Just because something is popular, an opinion is popular, or millions of people are defending her, it doesn't make her right. So we're going to get into that. Let's see. It's hard to, because it's a video, so I can't just scroll down. So I have to look in the timeline. So here's like the third page of Delaware, and she certainly is not at home in the state, which is true. She's not living in Delaware. She's not broadcasting in Delaware. That's where her business is established. So that's another question. Why is she practicing? I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how is that possible to have an LLC established in Delaware but practicing in Tennessee? This court has no basis for exercising general jurisdiction over her. Whatever. We already proved that wrong. The Macrons' attempt to establish personal jurisdiction over Ms. Owens under 6 Del C 18-109 also fails. I'm going to have to look that up because I don't know what that means. As a threshold matter, the Macrons failed to serve her under Section 18109, and Section 18109 permits implied consent jurisdiction for managers of Delaware, limited liability companies only in action involving or retaliating to the business of, yeah, I mean, they're not suing Candice personally. They're suing the company. They're suing the LLC. So they're going to take it to Delaware. That's duh. Second, the Macrons lawsuit is questionable libel. A libel tourism motivated solely by the Macrons' attempt to evade France's 3-month statute of limitations. Again, they're pushing that out, but they don't realize that the Macrons fear that if they win the case, the U.S. is not going to enforce it. So why the hell would they have it in France when, again, Candice is an American? Second, motivated solely by the Macrons' attempt to evade France's 3-month statute of limitations for defamation, which is dispositive. Instead of suing in their home country where their alleged harm was incurred, or in Tennessee, where, again, they're not suing Candice Owens, they're suing the LLC. Okay? So boom, your argument is weak, and the judges will see it, or we hope they will. Instead of suing their home country where their alleged harm was incurred, or in Tennessee where the alleged defamatory statements were published, the Macrons sued in Delaware, which has no connection to the Macrons. And then they lie and say no connections to Miss Owens. Ridiculous. And no connections to claims alleged. Boy, you are in big trouble. Okay, her LLC is in fucking Delaware. That's where it is. And she practices in Tennessee. Okay, I'm going to ask ChatGPT right now because it's a burning question I have. How is it that Candice Owens has an LLC in Delaware, but practices in Tennessee? How's that? What are the possible legality that allows for this? And I don't know if ChatGPT can answer that, but it's a question I have, and let's see if it'll answer. Here's what it says. It didn't. Here's what it says. Why form an LLC in Delaware? Business-friendly laws. Delaware is famous for having very business-friendly laws and courts, especially the Court of Chancery, that specializes in corporate law. That makes it attractive for LLCs and corporations. Privacy. Delaware allows a degree of privacy for owners, members with less public disclosure required. Interesting. Tax benefits. Delaware doesn't tax companies that don't do business within Delaware on their income generated elsewhere. So she doesn't get taxed? No wonder they have the LLC in Delaware. Delaware doesn't tax companies that don't do business within Delaware on their income generated elsewhere. Interesting. Efficient legal process. Delaware's legal system is well known for handling corporate disputes efficiently, which is valuable to companies. So very, very business friendly, Delaware. How can Owens practice in Tennessee but have an LLC in Delaware? Formation versus operation. The LLC is formed in Delaware, meaning that Delaware law governs the LLC internal affairs, but the LLC can operate in other states. Foreign qualification. To legally do business in Tennessee, the Delaware LLC must register as a foreign LLC. What? This process is called foreign qualification, where the LLC files paperwork with Tennessee and pays fees to operate legally in that state. A registered agent. The LLC maintains a registered agent in Delaware required for legal notices, but also must comply with Tennessee requirements for business operations. Legal framework. State law versus business activity. LLCs are creatures of state law, so you pick a state to form the LLC. But you must comply with the laws of every state where the LLC does business. Taxes and reporting. The LLC will pay Delaware fees and possibly Tennessee taxes depending on the business. Okay, so she does pay taxes in Tennessee then. The LLC will pay Delaware fees and possibly Tennessee taxes depending on the business income source to Tennessee. Owens can have a Delaware LLC legally while working in Tennessee because she's using Delaware for its favorable business laws. As long as the LLC is registered to do business in Tennessee, foreign qualified. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean her business is considered foreign? What? It's operating legally in both states. And then it says if you want the steps for registering, okay, we don't want to do that. That's fine. Let's see. Let's continue reading this document that her lawyers have turned in. They're accusing Macron for avoiding the 3. So that's the accusation. I mean, sure. I mean, fine. You can say it all day long. Yeah, the Macrons realize they have little time to do it. So, I mean, so that doesn't mean that they're trying to do something nefarious. They're just trying to get a lawsuit going. Or in Tennessee, where the alleged defamatory statements were published. The Macrons Delaware, which has no connection. Yeah, this is what she's saying. This is what they're saying. The Macrons sued in Delaware, which has no connections to the Macrons, no connections to Miss Owens, and no connection to the claims alleged. That's hilarious. How is it that Candice Owens has an LLC in Delaware, and you blatantly say that there's no connection to Miss Owens? The Macrons' ill-conceived gambit, however, falls short. Delaware's borrowing statute implicitly prohibits this sort of forum shopping. What does that even mean? And because it requires this court to apply France's 3-month statute of limitations. Okay, we went over that a lot of times. Third, the Macrons' claim should be dismissed under the doctrine of forum non-convenience. We're gonna chat GPT that, because what the heck is that? Miss Owens will suffer overwhelming hardships if she is forced to expend significant unnecessary resources in a battle with a major international head of state. That's your own damn fault, you loser. Yeah, you should drop the case because it's gonna bring hardship to my life. Give me a break. Give me a break, dude. You gotta hop on a plane or whatever and go to Delaware while the French have to fucking fly over the sea. I think the Macrons have more of have to spend more resources to get to Delaware. So don't even bring that shit up. You're so fucked, Candice. You don't even know how fucked you are. You think you're untouchable? She is so fucked. I'm telling you, she is so fucked. There's also no let's see. Miss Owens will suffer overwhelming hardship if she is forced to expend significant unnecessary. Oh yeah, with all her money and views that she's getting. Oh, poor Candice, she can't afford to go to court. Oh baby, boo boo boo. Unnecessary resources in a battle with a major national head of state in a jurisdiction that has no connection to the claims, parties, or operative facts at issue in this litigation. There are also no relevant witness or evidence located in Delaware, nor would anywhere in Delaware can watch the videos. There you go. There's your witness. Nor would any substantive Delaware law apply to defamation suit brought to the French president and first lady against the independent Tennessee journalist. She's not a journalist. She's a cult leader. Okay, that's a big difference. If you're going to spread conspiracies and lies and have a lot of people believe you started a cult. That's not journalism. Thus, the court should dismiss the Macrons' complaint in its entirety. Oh, they should, huh? Speaking of facts, Emmanuel Macron is the current president of France. Compliance 8. His spouse, Brigitte Macron, is the first lady. Compliance 9. Okay, yeah, we all know that. Miss Owens is an independent investigative journalist who at all relevant. Let's see. Just gotta scoot this thing up. Tennessee neither maintains a physical presence in Delaware, nor has either taken any action to target or serve the Delaware market. Well, here's the problem with that. Because she has a large audience, and if those audience members live in Delaware, then you are serving the market. Sorry, Owens. Miss Owens runs her journalistic operation with the help of 3 employees from her basement. How beautiful. Of her home in Nashville, Tennessee. Owens F1214, all of Miss Owens' employees, producers, editors, and contributors live and work in Nashville, Tennessee, which is false because Delaware just said you need to have 1 agent in Delaware to handle the business. So they're either breaking the law right there by not having an employee in Delaware, if I read that correctly. So boom, another offense against Candice Owens. He's going to get in big trouble for it. All the documents related to her work, as well as the relevant books and records of Candice Owens, LLC. And that's the thing. How can you say that she has no business in Delaware, but her company name is literally Candice Owens, LLC? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. And George Tom Incorporated are in Nashville, Tennessee. Owens, yeah, but you still have to file shit to Delaware. You still have to file shit. So don't even. Miss Owens operates her, I should be a judge. Man, I should grow up to be a judge, I swear. Miss Owens operates her main journalistic endeavor, her podcast, Candice, from her Nashville basement. Between January 31st, 2025 and February 20, 2025, Miss Owens broadcasted an 8-part series. And here's the thing about the 3-month period that you have to sue somebody. What if the Macrons didn't hear about it until then? So the true question is, at what point did the Macrons find out, and at what point did they sue? And how much time went on? But here's the thing, Candice kept talking about it, even after the series. So they have to look at it and go, when was the point that she actually stopped talking about it? And that's when that limitation restriction should start, if you're going to count it properly. Between January, Owens broadcasted an 8-part series entitled Becoming Brigitte, in which Miss Owens discussed Emmanuel Macron, Brigitte Macron, their relationship, and their rise to prominence through the ranks of French politics. Yeah, she also accused of incest, by the way, and so you don't bring that up, do you? Let's see. On July 23rd, let's see, we got to scoot up a little bit. Let's go to the next page. Again, you can find this guy. The title is Candice Owens Fires Back at Macron in Explosive Lawsuit Response. You can find that on YouTube. The guy's name is Jay Witt, JWHIT. He does a really good job of going over this. So file this action in Delaware State Court, notwithstanding that Delaware has no connection to the subject matter or operative facts of this dispute. I mean, I don't know about that. Statement of question involved. Whether Candice Owens should be dismissed from this action because this court lacks personal jurisdiction over her was a question. Whether France's 3-month statute of limitation bars the Macrons' claims. Whether the action should be dismissed because it would cause defendants overwhelming hardship to proceed in Delaware. That's not anybody's problems but her. That's not an excuse to drop the lawsuit. Argument. Under Superior Court Civil Rule 12b-6, dismissal is appropriate when it appears with reasonable certainty that under any set of facts that could be proven. So it just seems like these people created a LLC in Delaware for the benefit that they get from it, for things like this, for things just like this, you know. So that should tell you everything you need to know about Candice Owens. Argument under superior. Okay, let me see if I can scoot down. Argument under Superior Court, dismissal is appropriate when it appears with reasonable certainty that under set of facts that could be proven to support the claims are asserted The plaintiff would not be entitled to relief. Clinton versus Enter Rent-A-Car, Colorado, 977A2D892-895, Delaware, 2009. Internal question marks and citations omitted. Although the court must draw all reasonable inferences in favor of the non-moving party. What does that even mean? Non-moving party, sorry, I lost my place. It is not required to accept every strained interpretation of the allegations proposed by the plaintiff. Malpede versus Townsend, 780 A2D 1075, 1083, Delaware, 2001. Nor should the court draw unreasonable inferences in favor of the non-moving party. Price versus EI DuPont de Nemours in Colorado or just Co. 26, probably company, 26 A3D, whatever, blah, 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 overruled in part of another grounds by Ramsey versus GAS University. I just go into a bunch of stuff I don't even understand. So, hopefully a lawyer will actually go over this online and comment on it. That would be fabulous. Moreover, a plaintiff must plead all elements of its claim without the court having to consider conclusory allegations that lack specific support, factual allegations. I don't know what the hell is he saying. It just sounds like gibberish. The allegations are clear. You accuse the First Lady of France of being a man, you bully her over and over and over. You convince a lot of people that it's true, because what does Candice Owen say? I know for a fact. That's her favorite thing to say. I know for a fact. I know for a fact. It's not an opinion anymore. It's not an opinion. You know for a fact. You must have facts. Like she always does. What did she do recently? She made threats to Ben Shapiro and other people saying, show me the receipts. And they did. Recently. Look online. What's that guy's name that Candice keeps talking shit on? Ackman or whatever. He just released a lot of shit that cleared his name if you just fucking look at it. But no, Candice Owens likes to look at the things that only make sense to her in her own little fucking world. As set forth below, the complaint must be dismissed for several reasons. First, the court cannot exercise jurisdiction over Ms. Owens, either generally or specifically under 6 Delaware C 18109, second under Delaware borrowing statute, which mandates application of French procedural law, and specifically France's statute of limitations for defamation. The Macrons lawsuit is time barred. Lastly, the doctrine of, but here's the thing, those videos are still up. She didn't take them down. So that goes out the window. If they're still up for people to watch, then what the hell are you talking about? It's been 3 months. The videos are still up, and she keeps making videos of it. She stopped. She's talking about the Jews now. Because what happens when you hate the Jews? You get the views, baby. That's her mentality. France's statute of limitations for defamation. Yeah. Let's see if I can scroll down a little more. That's too far. Let's see. A, this court lacks personal jurisdiction over Ms. Owens. Delaware courts may exercise jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant as a function or either specific or general jurisdiction. So yeah, may exercise jurisdiction over non-resident. Yeah, great. That's exactly what's happening. So what's the problem? When a defendant moves to dismiss a complaint under rule, blah, 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 for lack of personal jurisdiction, the plaintiff bears the burden of showing a basis for the court's exercise of jurisdiction over the defendant. So, it's funny to me that the only thing that they really have to fight this is to say, oh, it's too late. You can't sue me because it's too late. It's not, oh, I'm right, or the information is correct. She's not saying that this is all factual and the proof is there. No. The argument is, sorry, Macron, you're too late. That's a red flag. You know that's a fucking red flag. Showing basis for the court's exercise jurisdiction, Fortis Advisors, LLC, blah, blah, blah. Delaware courts should exercise caution in extending. Let's go to the next page. Jurisdiction over non-resident defendants with tenuous ties to Delaware. I think having an LLC where you probably avoid taxes is not tenuous. General jurisdiction allows courts to exercise jurisdiction over a non-resident defendant for actions entirely unrelated to Delaware, while specific jurisdiction allows courts to exercise jurisdiction over non-resident defendants only where the action arises out of or relates to the defendant contacts with Delaware. So their argument is, well, it didn't happen in Delaware, so you can't sue me. But again, the Macrons aren't suing Candice, they're suing the LLC, which is in Delaware. And what's the LLC called? Candice Owens LLC. Oops! To determine whether a plaintiff has adequately alleged either general or specific jurisdiction under Delaware law on a motion to dismiss, I would argue with the Macrons, I would argue, listen, she's trying to avoid getting sued by doing something like this, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're creating an excuse. Oh, she's not in Delaware, so you can't sue us. Oh, it's too late, you can't sue us. Bunch of bastards. Their Delaware law motion to dismiss the court engages in a two-step analysis. First, the court must determine whether Delaware statutory law offers a means of exercising personal jurisdiction over the non-residential defendant. They're going to do it. I mean, you have an LLC in Delaware. That's how can you get any less personal than that? I don't know. I mean, if it was like, how can you say it's unrelated? If she works out of Tennessee and maybe her LLC was in Florida and they're doing the court in Delaware, then that would make sense. It's like there's nothing here to suggest that anything is happening in Delaware. That would make sense. But the fact that she has an LLC in Delaware is a big red flag, and that's the reason why they're doing it. Does Candice Owens talk about that? No, she doesn't. She doesn't talk about that, because the truth. Who cares about that? Hate the Jews, get more views. To determine whether, let's go down a little more. Again, I'm no lawyer, but damn, I got a little bit of common sense. Accordingly, the Macrons have the burden to produce evidence that Ms. Owens regularly does or solicits business in the state, engages in any other persistent course of conduct here, or derives substantial, revenue from services or things used or consumed. And again, here's what I think. If you have people in Delaware watching her, then that applies. That applies. I'm sorry, because you're reaching people in Delaware, which means you're hitting the Delaware market. And if your YouTube channel is making money from views, which includes people in Delaware, then yeah, sorry, you are creating business in Delaware. In other words, the Macrons must show that Ms. Owens has a general presence in the state. She has a general presence on YouTube, which is reachable across the world. So I would say yes. She does. Furthermore, let's see. So weak. Their defense is weak sauce, and I hope a judge rips her apart and shreds her to little pieces. The lies and hateful shit she is saying, and use Charlie Kirk for her own sake, for her own views. Fucking disgusting. Disgusting behavior. Further, for the exercise of general jurisdiction to comport with due process, a defendant must be essentially at home in the state. Interesting. For an individual, so what do you want Macron to do? Sue you in Tennessee? I mean, they could probably just do that and go, okay, you're right. We'll just sue you in Tennessee then. See you soon. For an individual, the patagram forum for the exercise of general jurisdiction is the individual domicile. Thus, only limited set of affiliations with a forum will render a defendant amendable to all-purpose jurisdiction. Under the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Daimler, a defendant is not subject to general jurisdiction whenever it engages in substantial. Here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of these court cases that are similar to this didn't have a personality who was reaching millions of people. That's the difference here. And they're going to take note of that. It's not just anyone. Candice Owens isn't just anyone. We know that. She reaches millions of people. In all these cases, I mean, look at Alex Jones. Alex Jones got sued for the Sandy shootings. And what happened? He had to pay millions upon millions. He almost lost his. He had to like figure out the legal way to hand over his business to somebody else to be able to run it. I mean, it almost destroyed him. It almost destroyed Alex Jones. You know, so I see the same thing happening to her. But here's the thing: I think Candice Owens doesn't have the millions and millions that Alex Jones has. So, because he sells vitamins and stuff like that, that's how he primarily makes his money. I'm sure there's other ways, but I think people donate money and stuff. What do you call them? Anyways, there's other ways that he's gotten money. But that's the thing. Candice Owens doesn't have that kind of money. She might have some, but she doesn't have that kind of money. And let's see. Thus, the only limited set of affiliations with the forum render defendant. Let's go to the next page. It gets kind of wordy after a while, and it's just representing case after case and making their argument. Continuous and systematic course of business. Dude, if your LLC is nowhere, that is a continuous systematic course of business, unless it is essentially a home from the form state. There's just so much lawyer talk that it's going over my head, you know. The Macrons do not show that Miss Owens is essentially at home in Delaware. So that's their defense. They're not defending that she's right. Polls to get out of trouble, and that should be an enormous red flag. Enormous red flag. The paradigmatic place where Miss Owens would be subject to general jurisdiction is Tennessee, where she is domiciled, not Delaware, where she is not and has never been a resident. But you still have a business there. It doesn't so where she is not, and see, this is why they do this. This is why people like her set up a business. That's another red flag that you should realize. Why didn't she do it in Tennessee? She did in Delaware because of this kind of thing. It seems like the Delaware courts are more in favor of people like Candice Owens. She does not conduct business in Delaware. Again, if you have an LLC, that's what you call conducting business. Sorry, it is what it is. Moreover, none of the conduct the Macrons complaint alleges occurred in Delaware. Again, it's not about where it happened. It's not about if she lives there. It's about the fact that her LLC is in Delaware and they're suing the LLC. So you're telling me that they can't sue a business because she doesn't live there? You got to agree with me. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up because she can do anything. That's why she feels so safe and continues on because she knows what she's done here. She knows the trickery of the legality and how she's protected. But I'm telling you, it's a different case because Candice Owens reaches millions of people, and I don't think they've ever had a case like this. And now, if I was the courts and this was coming to me, honestly, I would go through with it because it's an amazing case. Why wouldn't you want to do it? It's such an amazing case. This is not going to convince anybody to throw it out. I'm sorry. This is not. This is not going to convince anybody. Moreover, none of the conduct of Macrons' complaint alleges occurred in Delaware. Rather, the Macrons' allegations are based entirely on statements allegedly, not allegedly. She concretely made them, and the posts are still up, and the videos are still up. Give me a break. Miss Owen's 8-part podcast series, which she broadcasts from Tennessee. Again, she broadcasts from Tennessee, but how far does broadcast reach? And does it reach people living in Delaware? And if it does, you're cooked. You're cooked. If they can prove that people in Delaware are watching you and you're affecting them, you're so cooked. Cooked like a hamburger. Sorry. And not just that, the views make her money. So the fact that if Delawareans are watching her, it's adding to the fact that she's making money, which is business. Nor is it sufficient that Miss Owens formed, managed, and controlled Delaware entities she used to commit tortious conduct. Tortious, give me a break. The court lacks specific personal jurisdiction over Miss Owens. The Macrons also attempt to establish personal jurisdiction over Miss Owens, pursuant blah, blah, blah. The attempt fails for 3 reasons. The Macrons did not properly serve her under Section 18109, which I think is the time thing. The terms of the statute do not confer jurisdiction over Miss Owens, and exercising specific personal jurisdiction over Miss Owens would contravene due process. Plaintiff did not serve Miss Owens under Section 1809. See, exactly. So this is a comment that Jay Witt said. She is trying, or what? Or this is what a comment somebody made and is being presented on the video. Kiana Shaw says, she is trying to get Candice Owens, the person, dismissed from the suit based on what you are reading, not the business. Exactly. Let's see if we can scoot down. Check it out. Look it up on YouTube. Candice Owens fires back at Macron in explosive lawsuit response. Look it up on YouTube. Listen to this fella. He makes some really great points. And I didn't watch the whole video, but I will after this because I want to see what he thinks. Plaintiffs did not serve Ms. Owens under Section 18109. Superior Court Civil Rule 12b-5 requires dismissal of a claim if that claim service of process is insufficient as the rules of civil procedure in the state of Delaware. Proper service of process is a jurisdictional requirement. So a failure to properly serve, so again, they're trying to find ways to dismiss this that has nothing to do with the truth. They're all just trying to find legal loopholes so she can get away scot-free. This is all this is, and it's clear as day. It's not, oh, it's based on truth. Oh, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Is they're just finding legal loopholes for her to run away. And I don't think she's going to be able to do that. But she's so confident that she will. And if it turns out that this thing goes through, man, you better pray for her because her life will get destroyed. And here's the thing. I think Turning Point USA is going to sue Candice Owens. I have a suspicion that they might sue, Turning Point USA will sue Candice Owens as well. And to be honest, the reason they're not doing it, in my opinion, is because they're not bad people over there. You know, they're just like, okay, whatever. We're gonna come together. You know, Ben Shapiro was on Turning Point USA because she claims that Ben Shapiro is an enemy of Turning Point USA. I mean, she claims a lot of shit, and she's being disproven left and right by the simplicity of the people saying that she's accusing, saying, "You're crazy. Here's my relationship with Kirk. Nothing like what you're displaying." You know, so I wouldn't be surprised if she gets slapped with another lawsuit. I would not be surprised, and I think they should do it. Accordingly, the Macrons cannot obtain jurisdiction over Miss Owens through Section 180109. I'm really tired of hearing 180109. Even if the LLC consent statute could apply in this instance, plaintiff has not availed itself of the LLC consent statute by following the statutory requirements because defendant was served under the statutory procedures of the long arm statute, not the LLC consent statute. Interesting. I'm gonna look that up. Let's look that up. I was so convinced that they were suing her for LLC. Let's see what long arm statute. Let's look that up. I was very convinced that they were suing the LLC, but now I have my doubts. But that's why these papers, things like this, can be very convincing. So let's make sure. What is this thing called? The long arm statute. The long arm statute. Let's see what that is. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. What is the long arm statute? How does it apply to the Delaware courts when it comes to someone like the Macrons? It comes to being sued, or to the Macrons suing Candice Owens. Let's see what it has to say. What is the long arm? Let's see. Great question. You're digging into the core legal mechanics of Macron versus Owens defamation lawsuit. Let's break it down clearly. What is a long arm statute? A long arm statute is a law that allows the state courts to exercise jurisdiction over out-of-state defendants. Right. That is to reach someone who doesn't live in that state if they have certain connections, minimum contacts with the state. That makes sense. Think of it as a legal arm stretching across state or even national lines to pull someone into court if they've done something that impacts people in the forum state. Delaware's long arm statute, 10 Del C 3104. Delaware's version allows the state to assert jurisdiction over non-residents. There you go. So, you know, maybe I was wrong by saying they were going over the LLC, and maybe they are going for her personally, because I just assumed the reason why they were going to Delaware is because the LLC is there. So I just assumed they were attacking the LLC. But I think they actually might be. I'll have to ask ChatGPT about that. Here we go. Delaware's version allows the state to assert jurisdiction over non-residents who transact business in Delaware, supply services or things in Delaware, cause tortious injury like defamation in Delaware by an act outside the state, but with consequences in Delaware. So it tells you right there, causing defamation in Delaware by an act outside the state, which is what Candice is doing, but with consequences in Delaware. Regularly do or solicit business in Delaware or derive substantial revenue from Delaware residents. Again, in short, if you do something outside of Delaware that harms someone in Delaware and you have a connection to Delaware, like an LLC, the courts may have jurisdiction over you. So that's interesting. There you go. If you do something outside of Delaware that harms someone in Delaware, but here's the thing, it's saying harms someone in Delaware. So that's the interesting thing. So this is the thing that could save Candice Owens right here. If you do something outside of Delaware that harms someone in Delaware, we know the Macrons are not in Delaware, so that could hurt them. And you have a connection to Delaware, like an LLC, the courts may have jurisdiction over you. Let me ask it this question. if you do something, so if you do something outside of Delaware, and I'm having a brain fart. There we go. If you do something outside of Delaware, and you have a connection to Delaware, like an LLC, in this instance, Candice Owens LLC, does it, but she harms someone outside of Delaware, does, like the Macrons, does this still apply? Do the Macrons, or I should say, I'm trying to reword this in a way that makes sense. If you do something outside of Delaware and you have connection to Delaware, like an LLC, in this instance, Candice Owens LLC, but she harms someone outside of Delaware, like the Macrons, does this apply? Does the whole, I'm not sure, I'll just ask that, because I can't find the words to put together to what I'm trying to say and ask. So we'll just start with that question. Excellent follow-up. You're asking the exact kind of question that gets tested in court. Can Delaware assert jurisdiction over someone like Candice Owens, who committed an alleged harm, defamation outside of Delaware against people, the Macrons, also outside Delaware, simply because she has an LLC in Delaware? Let's break down the logical and legality. The core legal question: does Delaware have personal jurisdiction over Owens if the alleged defamatory act was committed outside of Delaware, from Tennessee, the victims, the Macrons, are also outside of Delaware and France, and the only tie to Delaware is Owens LLC? Short answer: possibly, but it depends on how much the Delaware LLC was involved in the alleged defamation. Here's how courts would think about it. Two legal filters must be met. Statutory basis. Under Delaware's long-arm statute, the key test is that the defendant caused tortious injury outside Delaware by an act done outside the state, but she does business in Delaware or derives substantial revenue from services or products used in Delaware. Green check mark. Candice Owens has an LLC in Delaware. This might qualify as doing business or transaction in the state, but it matters whether the LLC was actually used as a vehicle for the alleged defamation. The podcast was produced, hosted, monetized, or branded under the Delaware entity. Of course she did. Of course she did. Due process. U.S. Constitution. Even if the Delaware long-arm statute says yes, the U.S. Constitution requires minimum contacts between Owens and Delaware, and that it will be fair and reasonable to put her into court here. Courts ask, did she purposely avail herself of Delaware's legal environment? Is it foreseeable she could be sued, therefore actions done through her LLC? Is Delaware a reasonable and just forum? Let me say that again because it might be confusing. Did she purposefully avail herself of Delaware's legal environment? Is it foreseeable that she could be sued, therefore actions done through her L? That's what I was talking about. I was just saying that in my opinion, this was done on purpose for this kind of thing. And it just said, the courts are going to ask these questions. Is Delaware a reasonable and just forum? Realistic legal analysis. Owens has a Delaware LLC. There's a green check mark that says strong contact with Delaware. So that's true. Defamation allegedly published via her podcast, her media company, green check mark. Those platforms are operated under the Delaware LLC, which they are. Here's where it has X's, red marks. Macrons harmed in France, not Delaware. Makes jurisdiction more tenuous unless the harm also touched U.S. Delaware audiences, which, in my opinion, it did. It did because I bet you there are people in Delaware who watch Candice Owens. There's got to be at least one person in Delaware who watches Candice Owens. So, yeah, there you go. Owens operates primarily from Tennessee, weakens Delaware's case unless actions were conducted through the Delaware. Again, her actions are being conducted by the Delaware LLC. That's her podcast. Was the LLC a shell or active media company? Important fact, if the LLC is just a legal mailbox, that's weak. But if the actual business entity for her media, Delaware, has a much stronger case. Very interesting. Key legal precedent suggests simply having an LLC in Delaware is not enough by itself. But the business entity LLC is used to carry out the harmful acts, especially on a global platform. Very important. Delaware courts may claim jurisdiction. Gotcha, B. That's what you're doing. You have a global platform. You have a global platform. It says it right here. Key legal precedent suggests. But if the business entity LLC is used, that's her business, that's her podcast, to carry out the harmful acts, which she publicated her series, especially on a global platform. What is YouTube but a global platform? Delaware courts may claim jurisdiction even if the harm was felt elsewhere. Boom! She's cooked. She is so cooked. So what about the Macrons? In this case, they strategically filed in Delaware, likely because Owens LLC is there. Their legal team is already produced, distributed, and monetized through that Delaware entity on YouTube, a thing that reaches globally. This would satisfy both Delaware statutes and due process. Owens' legal team will likely counter. The business is a passive LLC, no real operations in Delaware. The content was created entirely elsewhere, Tennessee, and no meaningful harm occurred in Delaware. Yes, they're going to argue that. Final answer from ChatGPT. Drum roll. Checkmark green. Yes. Delaware's courts can claim jurisdiction if Owens used her Delaware LLC to produce or distribute the defamatory content, even if the harm was felt in France. The LLC connection creates a legal hook, but it must be actively tied to the defamatory conduct, not just a shell registration. Let me know if you want to explore what happens if court finds Delaware has no jurisdiction or the Macrons should then refile elsewhere. Very interesting. Yes, please let me know what the Macrons could do to refile where if that fails. But it says it right there, folks. She has a platform that's global, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. And this is cooked. End of story, boys and girls. She is cooked. She's over there all happy, not knowing what's going to happen to her. Oh boy. Oh boy. So if a Delaware court dismisses the Macron versus Owens lawsuit for lack of personal jurisdiction, the Macrons have several strategic options for refiling. Let's walk through them. Step 1. Case dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. And if Delaware courts find that Owens Delaware LLC isn't meaningfully involved in the defamatory conduct, or the Delaware lacks personal jurisdiction because of the alleged harm didn't occur there, then the case would likely be dismissed without prejudice, meaning they can refile elsewhere. Step 2. Where could the Macrons refile? Option 1, Tennessee. Candice Owens' state of residence. Why it works. Owens lives and works in Tennessee. Her podcast and media operations are likely to take place there. Tennessee courts clearly have personal jurisdiction over her. Legal pros. U.S. court access to discovery and enforcement of U.S. The defamatory content was likely created and distributed from Tennessee. And I'm going to add, on a global platform, because that's what YouTube is. Legal cons. Owens still has strong First Amendment defenses, so if the jurisdiction is solid, winning on the merits is still hard. Jury pool may be more sympathetic to Owens depending on the venue. So that's probably why they didn't go to Tennessee to do it, because she may have a favorable, more sympathy towards Tennessee, whereas in Delaware, it may be less biased. Option 2, France, Macron's home country. Why? The Macrons are French citizens who targeted Brigitte Macron's identity and reputation in France. French defamation laws are much stricter than U.S. law. They don't require proving actual malice, and reputational harm is taken very seriously. Legal pros. Easier to prove defamation under French law, stronger chance of winning a favorable judgment. Legal cons. Enforcement problem. Even if they win in France, U.S. courts may refuse to enforce the judgment under Speech Act 280. See, this is why they're not suing for France, because they know there's a good possibility that U.S. they're not going to enforce it, and she'll just get away with it. So they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing. The Speech Act blocks enforcement of foreign defamation judgments in U.S. courts unless the foreign law provides as much free speech protection as U.S. law, which French does not. So even a victory in France might be symbolic only unless Owens has assets in France or a country that will enforce the French judgment. So yeah, it's pretty clear they were avoiding that situation. If they win and then they don't enforce it, they're like, no, we're not doing that. That's too risky. It's like, we don't want just the optics of winning. We want to freaking destroy her, you know? Option 3, another U.S. state where harm occurred. For example, New York, California, if the defamatory content was consumed there and harmed the Macron's reputation among key audiences, diplomats, media, NGOs, etc., but they still need to prove that Owens targeted those states specifically. In summary, refiling option, Tennessee. Pros, strong jurisdiction, Owen lives there. Cons, still faces strong U.S. free speech protections. France. The pros of France, easier to win defamation case. Con, U.S. likely won't enforce judgment due to Free Speech Act. Again, these are things that Candice never talks about. She just accuses them of all of this shit without understanding what their motive is. And that's Candice Owens for you. Other U.S. states, potential jurisdiction via audience reach, harder to justify venue. So the best move they could have done was to do it in Delaware. So that was definitely the right thing to do. Strategic recommendation, if you were their lawyer. Tennessee is the most viable U.S. jurisdiction. If optics and symbolic value matter more than enforcement, then also file in France for a moral and political win. But see, it's not about that. Candice Owens got personal, and so now Macrons are getting personal. Use the French decision to apply pressure in the court of public opinion, even if the U.S. won't enforce it. Would you like me to explain what the Speech Act is in more detail? Yeah, that's fine. So very interesting, folks. I think she's cooked because she's on a global platform. Candice Owens LLC is her podcast and her things that she sells and this and that. So, you know, I think she's cooked. I think she's totally cooked. And today she said the Macrons dropped the lawsuit, and I haven't seen or heard anything about that. So could this be another lie by Candice Owens because she thinks she's going to win it? She thinks it's going to be dropped. I always say don't count your chickens or the fucking rooster or whatever comes on. Don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what she's doing. She's very confident she's going to win, and she's just saying they dropped it. although I can't prove that it wasn't because I can't find anywhere that it was dropped. All I see is that it's ongoing, and I feel really bad for the people that follow her like a cult. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go to Candice Owen's page, and we'll see some of the comments that people are saying. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're saying some really crazy stuff. So I'm gonna go to her page as soon as my computer unfreezes. I'm working with a very limited budget here. Don't worry, I'm not gonna ask for money. It's not about that. It's about truth. It's about truth, baby, all the way. So let's look up Candice Owens. Everybody knows who she is. Candice Owens channel. Candice, where is she? Oh, there she is. Candice Owens. Let's go to her channel. Let's go to one of her videos, and let's see what people are commenting below in her videos. And let's just go to one of her. Let's go to one of her videos. So this is what they're saying. These are the comments on her videos. I am glad Tucker and Megan are telling the truth here too. It's brave of them, and not without risk. Go Candice, we're all trusting you to do the right. By Charlie. Give me a break. She's not even with Turning Point USA. You know, give me a break. Here's another comment. It's not right versus left. It's America versus Zionism. It's humanity versus evil. Do you even know what Zionism is? Do you even know what that means? It means Jews who believe they have a right to a country. That's what it means. So when you say Zionism, you're literally saying, why? Because when you hate the Jews, you get the views. Adding Candice's shows to our homeschool curriculum. Oh my God, don't tell me you're fucking doing that. How to spot gaslighting in real time and the importance of a kick-ass timeline. Dude, she's the one gaslighting everybody. She keeps threatening everybody with receipts. She's never showed them. And the people that she's accusing have actually brought forward to YouTube and X and all the social medias what was said between him and Charlie Kirk, which they didn't have to do. But she's being such an asshole, accusing everybody right and left. That's against one of the commandments, by the way. That's against one of the commandments. She has a Christian cross behind her? I don't think so. I love how everyone I know is leaning towards Candice. The truth will always prevail. Prayers for you, Candice. Tyler, let me text every detail of what I just saw. What is this? Also, Tyler, hope they don't find the prints. Oh, this guy is calling out the shit. He's saying that here are the quotes from the text proving and showing how wrong Candice is. Tyler, let me text every detail of what I just did and why. Also, Tyler, hope they don't find the prints. How dumb do we think we are? I've never seen a murderer both so concerned and so unconcerned about hiding evidence. Oh, okay. He's not defending. He's actually with Candice. That's garbage. My sister was telling me how Candice was in our middle school in Connecticut, Turner River. It's dope to see how far you've gone so far. Stay safe. And who got you there, Candice? Was it not Turning Point that got you there? Was it not Charlie Kirk that got you there? And now they like all fucking hate you? Yeah. These people are clueless, and they're part of the cult. Candice, I have no idea how you maintain such grace while pursuing the truth about why your dear friend was unalived in such a cruel and traumatizing way. Yeah, because let's blame the Jews. Yeah, that's the reason why Kirk was killed. Go fuck yourselves, you moron. You fucking morons. Brings tears to my eyes at what a good friend of Charlie's you are. Give me a break. They were not friends at the end of things. Candace Owens was burning bridges. Nobody fucking likes her. Nobody fucking likes her, dude. I could only hope to have someone like you to fight for the truth. I want to gag. I want to fucking throw up. Here's another one. Remember, Candace isn't suicidal. I hope not. The truth will always come out. Bless you, Candace. It will come out. The truth will come out. And you're all idiots. And I do. God bless Candace, man. She is a human being. She is a soul, and she is lost. You better pray for her, because her downfall is coming very soon. The pastor left out the other part of the verse. Proverbs 17:7. A friend loves at all times. Yeah, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. You were born for this time of adversity, Candace. Candace is nothing like Charlie Kirk. Nothing like Charlie Kirk. She wishes she could be Charlie Kirk. Never, never in a million years will she be anything. Charlie was pro-Israel for his entire career, but very recently he started to notice and question them. Turning Point USA is Zio funded. Going against them meant he had to pay. Garbage, garbage, fucking garbage lies. He was also very influential to the youth. Charlie turning his entire crowd against Israel would have been detrimental to their narrative and propaganda. Can you believe these stupid comments? Here we go. We love you, Candace. Here's from the cult. We love you, Candace, and mourn with you. From some country. I don't know. Charlie's death is indeed a big loss to USA. You know what else is a big loss? People like Candace fucking using Charlie Kirk's death against him and against his own legacy. Fucking pathetic. Fucking pathetic, Candace. I watched his debates a few times in past and more now with YouTube recommendations of his videos. He was indeed an angel and a pure soul. I'm glad you're watching his videos. USS Liberty, JFK, 9/11, Charlie Kirk, all done by the same culprits, implying it was Israel. How fucking sick and pathetic. How fucking lost and sick and pathetic do you have to be? Thank you, Candace, for honoring Charlie's memory and not letting this be forgotten. She is not honoring Candace's memory. She's tarnishing his memory and his legacy and for what he stood for. Candace is literally battling Satan. No, she is Satan, brah. She made a deal with Satan quite a bit ago. She entirely flipped on Israel, entirely flipped on a lot of things. This Candace, the reason why Charlie Kirk is not friends with this version of Candace Owens is because she completely flipped on everything like this one day. The question is why? Why did she flip? What is the reason for flipping on everything? On everything. Let's go on to read some of these comments. They make me puke, dude. Make me puke, trying to put things in Charlie's mouth. Man, these people are insane. And this is what people are saying. She's misleading a lot of people, and people believe her shit. Candace, you and Charlie are the exact reason I found so much pride in my country. For the first time in 34 years, I hated this country. Wow. Did your mama teach you to hate, you loser? For all the wrong reasons, you guys made me get up and vote for Trump. Well, good. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure at that time, Candace didn't flip. I believe in my country now more than ever. I love you both so much. I think about you every day. Please stay safe because I'm part of your cult. That's not what she said, but that's basically what I'm hearing. The light shines in darkness. May God always protect you, Candace. I mean, that's sweet. Please, God, protect her because she's going to go through a lot. Karma's going to catch up to her, to all her lies, all her stubbornness, all her clout chasing. It's going to catch up to her, boo-boo. It's going to catch her up to her in such a big way. We're all so blessed to have you, Candace, standing up for truth. She's not standing up for truth. She's fucking spreading lies and hate and confusing a lot of Americans. It's despicable. These videos not only raise so many important questions, they help me develop my critical thinking. Well, that's great. I think the most positive thing is you can say, yeah, it does raise a lot of questions. Why do you take her question like it's the word of the gospel? Stop doing that. Do your fucking research, people. Only person who can be trusted right now. Thank you, Candice. Oh my God, you trust Candice? So this is just so messed up. So messed up. So fucking messed up, dude. I don't even know where to begin. Why is Candice the only person in the world doing journalism? Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. She's the only one? No, she's the only one in Looney Tunes land delivering a message like no other person. Why? Because when you hate the Jews, you get the views. She literally has to solve every crime. She didn't solve fucking anything. She's confusing people, spreading fucking hatred and lies. And she's creating a cult. She's misleading Americans. It's pretty fucking sick. They miscalculated how smart we all are getting. They miscalculated how smart we are all getting. Wow, look at the humility there. We aren't going to swallow their bullshit anymore, but you got no problem swallowing her bullshit, huh? And you even say thank you for it. Oh my God. This is actually interesting. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. John 12:23 says, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." That's actually pretty amazing. I'm going to give that a thumbs up. It's actually, Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. John 12:23 says, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified." That's beautiful. Let's see. Not only are you great journalists, he's a horrible journalist, but a great friend. A great friend. Yeah. Thank you, Candice. You are brave, and we are with you. He's a horrible journalist. Horrible. We'll miss Charlie forever. Thank you for sticking up for your friend. She's not sticking up for her friend. She is tarnishing his legacy and putting shit in his mouth that he fucking never said. And also spreading hatred towards 4 Jews, mind you. You know, I don't know all their names, but Ben Shapiro's on that list. This Alkman fella is on this list, and there's 2 others that she keeps shitting on. All Jews, by the way, because when you hate the Jews, you get the views. I love how feisty Candice gets when it comes to her timeline. Yeah, I'm so impressed. Candice is breaking the internet and awakening people. I pray for her to be able to continue her work guided, protected by God. Blah, blah, blah. It's just so dumb. These people are so dumb. Thank you so much, Candice. The way we should all honor Charlie is by making a promise to attend church every week. That's pretty nice. I know personally that there will not be another Sunday that I don't go and sit in God and Charlie's presence. I'll give that a thumbs up. That's pretty. Let's bring the truth out, Candice. Yeah, I agree. Let's bring it out. She's hiding so much truth. It's disgusting. Thank God for you and for the people that stand with you. Horrible people. Horrible, misguided people. Ignorant people. Ignorant people. God forgive them for being ignorant. Every night, Candice is breaking records because that's important, right? The most important thing is views. This is so sick. They cheer that they're getting so many views because the truth doesn't matter, you know? I'm telling you, the people telling the truth, you know how many views they get? 100, 50, 30. What gets you views? Hating the Jews. And we don't do that here. There's nothing more admirable, refreshing, and respectable during these fake and corrupt times than a truth teller. I agree. I agree with that. And Candice is not a truth teller. She's a bullshitter and a grifter. Hi, Candice. I'm a huge fan. I'm a truck driver and always look forward to starting my day with a fresh coffee, making my way down the highway before sunrise, and listening to your show on Spotify because you got to get that propaganda in you. You got to get it. You got to get that propaganda in you every day. You know, because leaving your echo chamber is such a horrible thing, right? These people are clueless. These people are a victim of this social media sickness and also a victim of this echo chamber. I was going to take this to the grave, but also there's a note under my keyboard saying, I did it. Oh, right. These people are sick and delusional. Okay? I even asked ChatGPT to provide evidence that Israel was behind this. Zero evidence, all speculative. I asked ChatGPT to provide the evidence that's been provided for the killer, and it's all there. It's all fucking there. Eyewitnesses, videos, family testimonies. What's lacking in your brain that you don't understand this shit? Why are you so far gone in fantasy that when the truth comes to you, you look at it as false, and you look at something so crazy, and you go, oh, that's the truth. How mentally retarded are you? As a non-religious, left-leaning woman, you've really caught my attention the last few months, of course, because the left agrees with Candice. Islamists agree with Candice. You know, and that should be a red flag to you all. As a non-religious, left-leaning woman agreeing with Candice, that should tell you everything you need to know about this whole situation. You've really caught my attention the last few months, and this incident really solidifies that you're really out there telling the truth. Oh, if it resonates with the left, you're not telling the truth. You've gained a follower. You said it. So now Candice is getting leftists to follow her, and that should tell you everything you need to know about what's going on there. Okay, she's no longer a conservative with her opinions. She can say she is all she wants. She can say whatever. If the left are agreeing with you, it means because you fall into the left. You may not practice the left, but your ideas and where you stand on things, and that should be a huge red flag for all conservatives. And I agree. This is literally good versus evil. I completely agree. We have to fight this battle with intelligence and words, not guns. Coming from a lefty, that's really beautiful. Because there's a lot of tension between the right and left right now. It's getting scary, and I worry for my children. Sometimes I regret bringing innocent life into this messed up world. Yeah, because you're a lefty, because you love abortion. I just hope we can figure it out peacefully. As a 22-year-old myself, we do not talk like that. Let's solve this thing together, y'all. Okay. This is exactly what came to my mind the first time I heard those texts. Like, this is not a 22-year-old talking. My old man, that's literally has been used by no one since before this kid was born. Again, no evidence, just speculation. Dear Candice, as a French viewer who loves your work and admire your courage, I just want to share with you the compassion and respect I have for what you're doing. Oh, really? Fucking being a bully and an asshole and a liar, spreading hatred, lies? That you want to support that? You're an ignoramus fool. If Charlie Kirk was alive, Charlie Kirk was alive today, he would be fucking disgusted with Candice Owens. He would be so disgusted with what she was doing. Candice, that was gold. Has never texted me the word retrieve, and you're right. The vehicle only comes up when the DMV sends you messages. Candice, that was brilliant. Wham, wham, wham. Again, no evidence, just speculatory bullshit. I'm not buying how he's online all the time, a gamer, but he wrote out every word and not one abbreviation or online shorthand. Okay, believe whatever you want to believe, Bubba. There's videos. There's even DNA fingerprints on the gun trigger, and guess who it belongs to, you morons? Tyler Robinson. Stop being idiots. Okay, they found his fucking DNA on the gun, on the screwdriver, on the fucking towel. There's videos. Okay, you guys are ridiculous. Ridiculous. My text confirms. I've never used the words retrieve or vehicle in my 37 years alive. Well, that's you. That's you. Okay, so stop, again, speculative bullshit. You've never done it, so then no one else does it? You know how many freaking people live on this earth for you to claim that no one on the planet has done that? Go fuck your fucking morons. Megan said something beautiful on Tucker's. He's gone because we didn't deserve him. That's fucking disgusting. That's just disgusting. Okay, he's gone because a psychopath who got radicalized by his boyfriend trans and the whole whatever community he was a part of in the gaming and shot Kirk in the neck. Okay, we deserve Charlie Kirk, and it fucking hurt when he died. Okay, it's not we don't deserve him. Go fuck yourself. Go fucking fuck yourself, Tucker Carlson. You're a fucking piece of shit. All they care about views. 660,000 views in an hour. Yay! Because that's all you care about, right? Oh my God, these people are fucking infantile. Infantile. Israel planned all mass attacks on U.S. soil. Israel got Charlie Kirk killed as well. Give me a fucking break, brother. Give me a fucking break. Commenting from England, Candice. So there's the proof. There's the proof of her global reach. I just proved it to you. You have England, France, okay? There's a case here, and she's gonna fucking burn. I'm telling you. She's fucking screwed, dude. She has global reach. Her audience even says, hi, I'm from France. Hi, I'm from another country. Okay? Boom! Boom! Dude, if I was a fucking lawyer, I would fucking destroy Candice with all this proof. You're so cooked. And I know those lawyers are like 20 times smarter than I am, so they are fucking cooked. The statute, remember what I said if you were watching before? Do you remember what I said about global reach and how important that was and how different that is from everybody else that's been through that court? People have been through that court, and the court cases they are throwing to dismiss this, none of them were personalities with global reach. Okay, none of them. And this is where it's going to bite her in the ass. She's so proud of the views and the global reach, and that's exactly what's going to bite her in her ass. You dumb, stupid idiot. You're incriminating yourself, and you're making it easy for the Macrons, which good. Good. I finished listening to Candice, so now I'm going to retrieve my keys and enter my vehicle to travel for an evening meal. No, guys, this is how I normally text. Again, just mocking the whole thing. Mocking Charlie, mocking his death, mocking his legacy, mocking the Macrons. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop with her. It's one of the commandments. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. The moment I saw Netanyahu on Fox News blaming the lefties and Islamists for killing Charlie before we even heard who the suspect was, I knew something was wrong. Really? Really? You think something was wrong? Of course something was wrong. The fucking threats Charlie Kirk got from the left is insurmountable compared to anybody else. It's sick. It's fucking sick. He got death threats like every fucking day. People like knew where he lived and shit. People would show up to fucking boo him and shit. Dude, you people are fucking clueless. Fucking clueless, dude. Fucking clueless. These people have no idea of the real world. It's just so... It doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. There are a lot of people who are ignorant in this world. And I'll say I'm ignorant. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm not like Candice Owens where I say I know everything. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. I don't even want to continue because it's just making me barf. I mean, it's just making me barf. All the shit people are saying. It's just ridiculous. I mean, some things are nice, but it's just way out of context. It's really sad. It's fucking sad what's happening to America. This is a result of what happens when a good man dies. You have a piece of shit like this taking advantage of the moment. It's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. It's so fucking sick. It's just so sick. And I bet this feeds into their ego. All these comments, they're like, yeah, 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 you give those Jews hell. Dude, what happened to America? What the hell is this shit? It's just sad, man. It's just fucking sad. I don't even want to read anymore, man. It's just sad. It's just fucking sad, man. It's just sad. I don't even know how many comments is this? Does it say? 1,350 comments. This was streamed live about an hour ago. You know, it's just so sad, brother. It's just so sad. I can't be on her page, man. It's making me sick. Her behavior is sickening. It's just sad. It's just fucking sad what's happened to this country. But the real Charlie Kirks out there, really proud of you all. Really proud of you all for standing for real truth. Really proud of you all, because this shit we have to, as conservatives, not just fight the left. And I don't mean physically. I mean ideologically with debates. But now we have this garbage to deal with, and that's what sucks. That's what really sucks. You have no idea how fucking shitty that is. Man. I can't imagine what Erica thinks of Candice. I can't even imagine. She's probably disgusted with Candice. Probably doesn't even want to speak to her. It's just disgusting, man. So fucking disgusting. Anyways, I think I'm done with this one because I mean, I gotta go do something else. I gotta go garden and go be happy because it just makes me sick, man. It makes me so sick. Oh my gosh, it's just horrible. It's just fucking horrible. It's just fucking horrible, man. All right, I'm gonna end this, dude. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.